What's up, guys? So this is going to be my agent deck profile. So yeah, I've always really loved all the fairy archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh, and agents is no exception. So when I saw the new support, I was really excited for it, and I think this deck is pretty good. Now, it's not an amazing meta deck or anything, but it definitely has some potential. And because of how good of a combo deck it is, it can easily take wins against the meta if they don't hand trap it optimally, if they're not expecting it, because it does put up a pretty oppressive board. It also can search out Christia. That's a big win condition, which a lot of decks, while they can use Christia, they can't necessarily get to it very easily. This deck, pretty much any hand can get to Christia. It's just a case of, do you want to try and go for a board of negates, or do you want to go for Christia plus less negates? But yeah, so that's what makes this deck so good. And then obviously, yeah, like I said, just the thing with Rogue is that it's quite hard. Like, people will obviously not know how to play the deck a lot of the time, and so they'll hand trap it suboptimally and stuff, and then you'll end up winning because of that. But yeah, this is the build now. Take this build with a grain of salt. I really advise you don't just net deck and copy this build. Use this as like a shell, because I'm still optimizing it. I got the cards on Saturday, and then I immediately just built it and I took it to locals. It did quite well actually. At both locals I played, and but it's like the build, there are definitely a lot of changes that I would make to it, and by the time I play this, I'm so sure I would have changed the build. So yeah, take this build with a grain of salt. But anyway, yeah, start off free Neptune. Neptune's amazing, monster reborn for any of your agents from hand or graveyard, which is nice. Also, when it's banished, it searches Sanctuary in the Sky. So yeah, this card's just amazing. You always want to see him, and this facilitates a lot of your 2-card combos. 3 Earth, which is your main searcher, so this card is quite good as well. Now, this card more facilitates 2-card combos as opposed to 3-card combos, but it's still very good just because it searches as a strong normal summon, and also it's a tuner. Tuner access, I'd say, is big in this deck because you have a lot of ways to get just bodies on the board, and so you always need tuners to go into your synchro plays and abuse. And then 3 Venus. Venus is what makes the deck so strong because obviously she can spam out Shine Balls for Link Fodder, synchro fodder, whatever you want. Sorry, I'm a bit sick at the moment, guys, so that's why my voice is doing a bit much. But yeah, Venus with the 3 Shine Balls. So the 3 Shine Balls are obviously bricks, but it's not too much of an issue. I don't do the whole nonsense of playing Imduck and stuff. I was going to, but the problem essentially I realized is it just takes up too much extra deck space to do that with the Shine Balls. And this deck already is struggling with extra deck space, but I didn't really ever find that as a problem. And also I play Small World, so these are often really good with Small World to search out other stars. Played 1 Uranus, is trash, don't play it. Yeah, it's just really not good because you don't have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field enough to play it. And I also played it as a Small World, as a secondary Small World bridge, because Guardian Eatos is my first Small World bridge. This is the second, and this basically means that if I draw Eatos, it's not even a problem. Eatos plus Small World is still full combo. But it's just not good. It's just never good. Almost every time I saw it was a brick. Definitely just get rid of this because it just doesn't do the job. Yeah, it's a level 5 tuner, which is kind of nice, but yeah, don't play it because you don't have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field enough. So on turn 1, it's always dead, and then after turn 1, your gameplays are usually after turn 1, your play is usually to keep summoning out Hyperion, Dark Hyperion. That's what you're usually doing, so it's not even worth playing him. 3 Diviner. Diviner's really good because this is another 1-card combo, which is nice. She sends Trias, and then Trias tributes her to summon out Butan. So yeah, just a really good card. And what's nice about Diviner as well, obviously, and what's really great about this deck and a lot of the normal summons is that, again, people won't hand trap correctly. So this, for example, people a lot of times would have hand trapped this, but they hand trap it and then I haven't extended my hand anyway. So I have like a Guardian Eatos in my hand or something anyway, and then I just full combo anyway. So that's what's really nice about this card. People will hand trap a Diviner because they don't want to see you resolve. They might even think you're playing Drytron or something, and then you just full combo anyway. But yeah, and Trias is such a good card. I was originally playing it at 3 because it allows you to dodge hand traps and stuff, but I cut it down to 1 just because I wanted to focus on more having agents in the deck, because then I'm less likely to brick with certain cards. But it's still a really good. Trias is still a really good card, and Butan's amazing. It's 2 tuners basically, because a tune on the field, and then obviously because if you've got to Butan, then you're going into your Venus play, and this can banish from the graveyard to make a card another light fairy a tuner. So that's what makes Butin so good, because it just gives you multiple tuners, which is really nice for this deck. That's definitely something that you'll be missing in this deck, having access to tuners. Then I played one Majesty and one Master. Both of these cards were quite good. Master seemed crap at first because it just wasn't coming up, but then after a few rounds I started to kind of have it come up in the grind game, which is really nice. Majesty is insane. I think I saw someone playing 3 on Tatsium's channel. The guy was playing 3, and I think I'm going to copy that because, yeah, this card's just so good. Like, banish from the graveyard to summon, which basically means your Link 2 is almost always going to be, like, able to climb up into Link 3, no matter what. And in the grind game, it's just amazing. This destroys DPE because if you have Sanctuary in the Sky, you don't even have... What's really nice about a lot of the agent effects now is that Sanctuary in the Sky doesn't need to be on the field. It can be in the field or in the graveyard, and your trap also behaves as Sanctuary in the Sky in the graveyard. And so that makes this card just so good, because obviously you get this on the field, banish DP, banish the Celestial, their follow-up is completely gone. So yeah, this card's amazing. I'll say you play it at 3. I think this is a better extender than having Uranus, for example, which is really good. 3, Yatos. Yatos is really good. I can see arguments for and against that. I saw some people playing Korobane, for example. I saw some people playing Protector Spirit Logoreth. This card is really good. Now, I'd say for me, the reason why I'm playing 3 Yatos as opposed to the other ones is because there's a lot of Flunderies in my locals. And so because there's a lot of Flunderies, Yatos being wind is great. So I actually do like seeing this, because if I see it in the Yatos in my hand, special summon it, try and go battle phase, they have to respond, otherwise they're about to lose. They'll lose their barrier statue or whatever. So that's one of the reasons I like it. But I can see why some people don't play at 1 or 2, and I think as well, if you're not playing Small World and you don't have a lot of Flunderies, just play Korobane or something, because Light Fairy, you'd rather have a Light Fairy than a Wind Fairy. But it's still a really good card just for the ability to special summon with no effects, so also outs Masquerade, because people try and Masquerade Benja as well. You can special summon this with no effects and just put it on the field, and it's a level 8 body. And what makes this really good is that going second, and I did this so many times, I'll normal summon, and my opponent would negate my first normal summon, then I'll just special summon. They wouldn't respond because they don't know what's about to happen. I make Baron, and now I can do my full plays going second, and they just can't do anything about it. So yeah, this card's amazing. But I can see an argument for some people not playing it. And then the one Christia. Christia's busted. I mean, yeah, you summon Christia, you win. Game 1, I always go for Christia just because it's unlikely they're going to have an out to Christia game 1. Game 2 and 3, a lot of the times I do side it out unless it's in very specific matchups like Drytron or something, just because game 2 and 3, they're going to side in their removals and stuff just for Christia. But game 1, this card's busted. Then next I played Cool Battle Grave because it's busted, Instant Fusion because it's busted, and Ready Fusion. So yeah, these are just for extenders. This gives you access to a Fairy tuner in your deck, which is really nice, and then Cool Battle Grave because it's good. I played 3 Small World, 3 Sacred Waters, 3 Talents, 3 Prosperity, and 1 Sanctuary. So Small World, Prosperity, and Sacred Waters, just consistency, and that's one thing I'd say that really helped my deck. I played only 3 hand traps in my deck, but I felt so consistent all day because I always was seeing my start. There was never going first and not seeing my start, because obviously I have my 3 Earth, my 3 Venus, my 3 Diviner, then I have these 3 as well. So there's just so much consistency in my deck that I was always seeing 1 and 2 card combos, which is really nice, and they're all really good cards. Sacred Waters is also amazing because it gains your life points, which does come up because if you're using Venus, you will lose life points. Sacred Waters gains life points if you have other agents. If you have Sanctuary in the Sky in the field and the graveyard, and you have Agent Snipers on the field, it will gain you life points. So yeah, Sacred Waters is nice. Talents is also really big just because, like I said, people will hand trap this deck suboptimally, and even if they don't, this deck can usually play through hand traps quite well. And so having Talents is just nice because a lot of times they'll hand trap me and it's like, okay, look at your hand, take out your hand. Now I know you can't out Christia, I'll just go for Christia, I'll go for the greediest Christia player because I know you can't do anything about it, which is really nice. And then Sanctuary in the Sky, yeah, it's just nice. You play one of it. You don't actually have to play this, I would say. So the main reason you play this is this lets you search Christia. So if you're not playing Christia, don't play this. The other reason why you play this is because it does give you a little bit of advantage on certain effects. So for example, Neptune can start reviving Hyperions and stuff like that. But I can see an argument for not playing this. I remember the OCG list that initially topped with this didn't play Sanctuary, and they didn't play Fallen Sanctuary either, and I can see why. But I'd say if you're playing Christia, then it's kind of worth. If you're not playing Christia, then you can probably get away without playing it, because what's nice as well is most of the effects don't rely on Sanctuary in the Sky to play, they just get a bit better. But yeah, that's all the spells that I played. And then for the trap lineup, just 4 traps, played 1 Fallen Sanctuary and 3 Imperm. So I didn't play hand traps for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I think hand traps this format are just worse in general. Every deck can play through them quite well, and even if they can't, people are playing talents, and I hate getting punished by talents. I mean, I play it as well. When you get punished by talents, it's one of the worst things ever, because obviously you've negged a card, and then they punish you harder because they draw cards, or they take a card you control, they loop a card out of your hand, and it's just, yeah. So that's why I like Imperm instead, because Imperm at least means that I'm not getting talents. It's also nice because it's really good to draw as a 6th card. That was really important to me. I've been losing die rolls like crazy for the last month or so. Like, I feel like every locals only win like 1 dice roll, and Imperm is just really good as a 6th card. It's so good because you draw Imperm and now you can out a Baron or whatever just by itself. You can out that Flounder barrier statue or whatever, which is good. And then Fallen Sanctuary is just another kind of Imperm but worse. This card, so the main reason I actually like this card is that on activation it sets a Sanctuary, it sets your searcher basically. So that's the main reason why I actually like this card. That's the main job that it does. The negation effect's quite bad. One thing you have to keep in mind as well is that if it's set, it's not like some other cards where it's like you can activate and use the effect. So like, it's not like Protocol where you can activate and use the effect. You can't. When you activate it, it sets a card. That's what it does when it's activated. And then you have to use it when it's face up. And the disadvantage about that, obviously, is that you can't hide it from your opponent almost. Do you get it? You have to kind of leave it on to know your opponent. You activate it, you set a card, and your opponent knows, it looks at it, it's like, okay, so you have negate, now I know what to play around. So that's what sucks a bit about it. And it's like, I'm torn. I don't know if I'll keep playing it, because the other thing as well is that if I'm going into the Link 3, I'm almost always doing it just to search Christia. I'm never doing it to do anything else. I'm rarely searching this intentionally. And so it's kind of like, it just felt redundant. Most of the time it's like I drew it and I was okay with it. But if I didn't draw it, it would have been fine. So I don't know if I'd still play this. I don't know if I'd side it for games 2 and 3 when I know it's going to be more grindy and it's like a card like this becomes more useful because negation is nice. But in any case, I played it. We'll see if I keep it in my builds going forward. But yeah, that is the main deck. So I think main deck, I think it was 46 in my main deck. You play bricks, so yeah, that's why I don't mind going over 40. 49 has actually been the number I've been rolling with a lot of my combo decks recently. But yeah, I have so many searches that I felt consistent. Then the extra deck, played one of this as my instant fusion target. Herald. Herald is amazing because you can make Herald early in your combo as well. The only disadvantage for making Herald as opposed to making Baron or whatever is that if you make Herald, it makes it harder to extend with certain cards because things like your Link 2 Protector of the Moon, if it tries to dump, it'll banish the card instead. So that's the slight issue with Herald. But Herald is still good, and this plus Christia, this plus Baron, it's like an FTK against what's that deck called, against Branded, because obviously they're gonna just banish all their cards, and while they still get effects off, they just lose so much. And it also means that, for example, if you have Herald plus Baron plus Christie on the board, which is quite easy to make, and then they have droplets, they can only usually out 1 or 2 of them because obviously they can't send from their hand to the thing, so they're gonna have to have a monster on board, and on top of that, they're also gonna have to activate a spell or something just to out both, which is insane. So yeah, Herald I think is just really really good this format, and yeah, I make a lot of times. Again, games 2 and 3 when I'm knowing it's Branded, I'll end on Herald a lot of the time. I'll end on Herald plus Hulk. Hulk will, I'll show you what Hulk does. Actually, you'll see now. But yeah, Hulk will mean they can't out this, and then Herald means that they're just gonna banish everything. Pluto is amazing. It's Book of Moon, and that's why I think it's so good, because Book of Moon is actually really relevant against a lot of decks like PK and stuff like so. Again, I go into Hulk and people think, oh, he's playing some sort of Hulk deck, I'm going to hand trap the Hulk. They hand trap the Hulk and I'm like, sure, because I wasn't even going to extend out of the Hulk. On their turn, the Hulk will summon out Pluto, and Pluto's a Book of Moon. So if I Gates PK and you flip all your Gates Dragons, you flip their first summon down, a lot of times they can't play anymore. And it's also nice because if you make Herald plus Hulk, or if you make Appaloosa plus Hulk, then obviously you can protect your Appaloosa, so you can be really greedy with your Appaloosa negates because they're going to try and go battle phase. Hulk can activate in the battle phase. You Hulk out, they're not expecting it. Now you flip their monster and they haven't outed your Hulk. It's amazing. So yeah, this card's just really really good because of that. Also, you can banish Search Sanctuary in the Sky, but chances are if you've got to the point where this is on the board, you've already got Sanctuary in the Sky, so that doesn't really come up. Baron, OP, yeah, nothing to say. Master Hyperion, this is another thing that makes the deck so good. This is just an amazing synchro. It basically copies all of your effects, and so this means that Venus almost always goes through if I want it to go through, as long as I can get to this, which is really, really nice because it means that sometimes they'll hand trap my Venus, for example, or they'll, yeah, because Venus is the only thing you really send. I don't play Destruction Venus. I might play one because actually I do think it's quite good, so maybe I'll replace Uranus with Destruction Venus instead. But it's nice because you can send obviously your Venus if they've hand trapped your Venus and still use the effects, which is really great. Or if you're playing Destruction Venus, you can use this to recycle and just loop Shine Balls and get 9 extra link materials. So yeah, this card's great. Also, it's got 3200 attack, which is sick. And also, when your opponent activates a card in effect, you can trigger this to banish a card that they control, which is nice because this is really good against adventure stuff, because obviously they activate Right and then Resolution, you banish Journey, and now their Right's useless. So yeah, this card's quite good, and it's just good in general because, for example, again, going second, you make this sometimes, you can make this a pressure sometimes. So if you know they've got a negate on board, like a negate and destroy, you make this, they activate a card, you chain this, banish something, then it's engraved, then you use Neptune, summon this back out, and then you send Venus and you full combo. So yeah, this card's just really good. Yeah, but you only need one because after you've gone into it the first time, it's not usually relevant. Played Almirage and Link Spider. This is just for turning Earth into one card combo. Link Spider comes up every now and again for your Shine Balls so that you can use them for Appaloosa, or is it Appaloosa? I don't know. So you can use them for something. I don't know what it is. Hulk, because Hulk is good. You can make Hulk very easily in this deck. So normal summon Earth, search Neptune, make Almirage, special summon out Earth again, you make Hulk. Yeah, Hulk is just good, like in terms of a card. This deck I feel like uses it like how Synchro decks should use Hulk, where it's like you're actually like using it for the effect of Hulk, not just using it to cheat out a million monsters. But yeah, Protector, you only really use this to dump Hyperion. It's actually not that amazing to be honest, but you use it to dump Hyperion because it basically allows you to link climb for free. It can search Earth if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the board already, which is nice because then you're searching follow-up for the next turn, but that just never really, that effect never came up. Like, I was always dumping Neptune or Hyperion, I was never searching Earth. Actually no, tell a lie, I would search Earth every now and again if I need extra discard fodder, but that was a rarity because if I was going to go into my Link 3, I would always know I would have enough discard fodder. And then this Link Monster, I remember when it was released in, what was it? Yeah, it's Dual Overload. This Link Monster has always been amazing, but it's just obviously the agents can take advantage of it as well. But this is great, it just searches everything, it searches your whole deck. It also searches any fairy. If you have Sanctuary in the Sky, it searches any fairy. If you don't, it searches anything that lists Sanctuary in the Sky on it, which is just really great. Also, if a fairy monster you control leaves the board, you get to special summon a banish and then special summon a fairy for your hand. This is nice because, so in your combo, a lot of times you'll leave one Shine Ball on the board, or you'll leave 2 Shine Balls on the board, and then you'll make Herald, and then banish, and then because the fairy monsters left your grave, banish summon Christia from your hand, or you just turn one of the link things into a Link Spider and then again banish special summon Christia from your hand. So yeah, just a really good Link monster. What's nice about this as well, obviously, is that because this can be sent with Master Flare Hyperion, if you haven't got the excess link materials to go into this, or if it's just not worth, because sometimes it's not worth going into it, you can just use Hyperion to do that effect as well. So yeah, this card is just really good. I think if this deck had more extenders and stuff, more ways to kind of just extend in its deck, I would play more of this because it's a bit like Sunlight Wolf and stuff. Even though it's linked through, it's a bit like Sunlight Wolf, where it's just that efficient link that you really want to go into quite often. But unfortunately, there's just not enough ways, and a lot of times it feels like a waste going into a Link 3, which is why I don't go into it as much as I would like to. But it's still a really good card, and yeah, part of your Christian combo. Play Unicorn and Access Code, yeah, because they're just good. Play Appaloosa, and then we play 2 rank 8s because it's easy to get into rank 8s. Titanic Galaxy is good because it negates effects, so it's good against Right of Artemisia, I don't know how to say it. And Photon Lord just because occasionally you'll open weird hands where it's like Diviner plus 2 Ethos, summon 2 Ethos, make this, and now you have a negate before you go to full combo. But I never made this. I never made either of the rank 8s, but I'd keep Titanic Galaxy, I wouldn't keep the other one because, yeah, hand draft just didn't matter. And then my side deck was quite crap, to be honest. So again, don't really copy my side deck because only a couple of cards were strong. But yeah, 2 Lightning Storm because I only have 2. I played 3 if I had 3, but I lost 1. 3 Evenly. Evenly is amazing. It's branded. That's why I like Evenly, because you just out their whole board and they can't do anything. Reboot. Freebie. This deck is so good at clearing the board, especially if you loop Hyperion. So the initial Hyperion, the original Hyperion, isn't a once per. It's a soft once per turn, not a hard once per turn. And so if you reboot like a trap deck, for example, like I did this against Eldritch, I read reboot him, had Sanctuary on the board, summoned Hyperion, pop 2 traps, linked off. Then I used Neptune to summon Hyperion again, pop 2 more traps. It was insane. So yeah, you can pop a lot of cards and do a lot with original Hyperion, which is why I think Red Reboot is great because you can actually like take advantage of it. 2 Cyclone, just a lot of back row removal because back row decks suck. I didn't play back row removal in the main deck just because, this was my opinion, chances are if I was going into back row deck game 1, Like if it's not a back row focus deck and it's just like a deck that happens to have 1 or 2 back row, I can probably play through it fine, even like Sky Striker, because my deck just has so much gas. And if it's a back row deck like Eldritch, 1 back row removal randomly in my deck is not going to be the big, like it's not, I just have to accept like my deck's not going to be it with 1 back row removal. Like one random duster might win me a game, but realistically it's not. So I'd rather just have a lot of back row removal in my side deck so that when I come against those back row matchups, I screw them over. Yeah, that was kind of why I didn't bother with back row removal on the main. Gamma is busted, but I never sided it in because I just didn't really have room for it, and because you always have monster on board in this deck. And Dark Ruler, again, never sided it in because I just never needed to. Like, genuinely, like, I had no fear going second against any deck because unless they're Scythe locking me, and even if, like, I got Scythe locked by PK and I still won because he Scythe locked me and I just looped Hyperions and then I made Christian. So, yeah, like, I just, I feel like this deck is just really, really good going second, again, because of just all the gas that it has and because people don't know how to play against it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a test hand with this deck. Just some of the things it can do. Again, like I said, I'm still learning the deck, so I haven't got perfect combo knowledge. But yeah, once you see this, you'll see some of the things this deck can do. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Right, guys, so yeah, pretty good start. I'm starting and actually this is a good opportunity for me to show you what my prosperity targets are. So again, it will vary, but usually I'm going for 6. Game 1, it'll be Photon Lord, Titanic, it'll be usually Appaloosa. It depends on my hand. So if I know that I can make Christia, then it'll usually be Appaloosa. If I know that I can't make Christia, then it won't be Appaloosa. So it'll be Appaloosa, Access Code because you don't need it. I would actually play Chenging as well. Instead of this, I'd play Sword Soul Chenging. I did say that before, but Sword Soul Chenging is so good in this deck. Unicorn and then Almirage. I only keep Almirage if I know that I need to go for that Earth 1-card combo. If I don't, then I won't bother keeping Almirage. But yeah, those are the usual 6. If you really, really want to keep Appaloosa and you're like, you don't feel like getting rid of it, then I'd say Herald is probably the next best to get rid of because you only make Herald in certain hands. So you can keep Herald or Appaloosa, it's really up to you. But yeah, we'll see what we pick up from this. But the hand is already pretty good so far. So talents, Hyperion, Small World, that's full combo. Venus, that's full combo. Beauty, I don't even need to anything. I got Venus, so I just add Venus. Yeah, so you could add Small World if you wanted to. It's a full combo, but I don't feel like getting rid of extra card from my hand. And so from here, it's quite easy. So Sacred Waters is going to search out Earth, and this is, I would say, the standard combo that I usually do. And to do this combo, you need to see any 2 of Earth, and so you need to see either Sacred Waters and Earth, Venus and Sacred Waters, basically any way to get to Earth, any way to get to Venus. If you can get to both, then you have full combo. Yeah, but yeah, normal summon Earth. Earth is going to search out Neptune. And what's really nice about this as well here in this combo, obviously, is that if you wanted to, for example, you go to Baron to just Christia lock them. So one way you can play out this combo is you can go into this, go into Baron's Christia lock, then just make Night Lord and go straight into Christia. Now you have Baron plus Christia, and that's one way. That's kind of like, I'd say, the safest way to play the combo. In fact, I'll just show you that because rather than talking, but yeah. And we need, so here you just go into Master Player Hyperion. Then you use Neptune to summon out Venus. Venus is going to summon out your Shine Balls. So we have 1 Shine Ball, 2 Shine Ball, 3 Shine Ball. And then 2 of the Shine Balls are going to go into your Moon. Moon effect is going to trigger. Moon is going to dump the Dark Hyperion. And this is why the Dark Hyperion is so good. Like I said, Dark Hyperion plus Moon is so nice because it basically means I get the link 3 for free. So I'm going to send Dark Hyperion. Dark Hyperion is going to summon itself by banishing Agents of Life Neptune. Neptune's going to search Sanctuary in the Sky. And so here as well, this is what's great as well, obviously, because, and I feel like they designed this on purpose. If I know I need to see, if I know I need more discard fodder, I can keep it in my hand. If I know I don't, then I won't. So for example, so if I need to search Christia, then I have to activate it. But I don't need to search Christia. And so I don't need, I'm just going to keep for discard fodder because it means I can keep the Callback Grave in my hand. But yeah, after I've made this, the next thing I'm going to do is, I'd say the best 2 to link off here will probably be these 2. So I link these 2 into link 3, which is Night Lord Barchef. Sorry, I put Hyperion on the board. I meant to put Baron because obviously we're not using his effect. Yeah. They make Parchaff, and then from here, literally, you just make a Link Spider. Also, Parchaff's effect will trigger to banish that, and then you summon Christia. And then, yeah, they're not out in that board because it's just negate plus Christia. It sounds simple, but yeah, negate plus Christia and you got called by the grave. But yeah, that's one way you can play out a hand like this. So we're gonna do another test hand where we play a bit more greedily and you see some more of the potential that this deck has. So let's do another test hand. Let's see what we get. So start off with Imperm, which is nice. Small Word, Yatos. Oh, we opened Hyperion and Sacred Water. So this is actually a pretty insane hand. It really changes what we're going to do. So let's show some of the, well, let's show the reason why I played Uranus, even though I wouldn't play Uranus going forward. So Small World, Yatos, and then, so this is like why I played Uranus, because I thought it'd be good, but it just ended up not coming up or not being relevant when it came up. Like even in that hand, I don't need to do this, but I'll show it anyway. But Small World, Yatos, and then we banish Uranus, and because Uranus obviously is dark and has that, it pretty much can search anything, so you just search out, I think it's Earth that we search out, right? Yeah, we search out Earth. So, yeah, Small Word banishes those two, and then you get to Earth, and then it's just a similar combo again. You normal summon Earth. Earth is going to search Venus. Then you have your Sacred Waters. Sacred Waters is going to search for Neptune. Where are we? So Sacred Water search for Neptune. Now in this hand, I'm actually going to try and make Hulk, and the reason being is because the way my hand is set up, I feel like it's actually worth it to make a Hulk. Actually, should I make Hulk? Nah, we'll see. I don't think I'm going to make Hulk, actually. I don't think I need to make Hulk in this hand. It's kind of a waste of time. So yeah, Neptune discard itself to make Venus. Venus is going to summon out 2 Shine Balls. So Shine Ball, Shine Ball, and then I'm going. Actually, I am going to make Hulk. So first, I'm going to make Hulk. And the reason why I make Hulk essentially is that I'm giving myself a free negate while still being able to do the exact same thing I would have done otherwise. So I make Hulk, and then I go into, could go into Butin if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Go into Earth. So you make Hulk, go into Earth, and then from here you're going to link. No, you're not. First, I'm going to use the last Shine Ball instead of wasting the last Shine Ball. Yeah, so you make the last Shine Ball, and then from here, I would say that you don't actually. The weird thing about this hand as well is obviously that I already have access to Hyperion, so I don't really need it. So you just go into Link 3, I would say, from here. It's not even really worth going into Link 2 because it doesn't get you anything you don't already have. And so we're not going for Christia for this hand, so this would be like a game 2 when I normally would have sent out. We make Parchaff effect. Discard Hyperion to search for, where is it? Fallen Sanctuary. So if you're playing Venus, for example, you could search for Venus and do some other synchro plays, but yeah, Fallen Sanctuary. And then Hyperion is going to summon itself by banishing Neptune to search Sanctuary in the sky. Yeah, and then you have a Link 10 here. Yeah, so you make your Link 10 here. And so you can choose, so not your Link 10, sorry, you make your Synchro 10 here. So you have a choice, for example. You can make Masterflare Hyperion here if you wanted to. I personally would just make Baron. I wouldn't even bother Masterflare here because my board's already quite nice. I've already got Book of Moon plus Negate plus Baron. So I wouldn't even bother, but you can if you want. Then I've also got another card in hand, which is going to be another negate. So again, that's a Book of Moon, that's a negate, and then that's 2 more negates here. Like, it's just a really nice board. And that's what I like, because multi-layered interaction. Not all of my interactions on the board. So for example, if my opponent imperms my Baron or whatever, or destroys my Baron, it's like I've still got Hulk access. If they Dark Root or Droplets me, I've still got these 2, and this is going to set me up for next turn. And also in Graveyard, I've got follow-up for next turn with my Hyperion there. So yeah, guys, that's the Agent deck. I think it's really, really good. Like I said, these are just some basic combos. I'm still learning it, so I'm sure there's way more efficient combos to do. But anyway, yeah, guys, if you've enjoyed watching this, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.